All right, my loves, we are going to talk about self-love. This can be a very triggering, but yet massively opening opportunity for you in your own self-discovery. And especially when we're talking about consciousness and co-creating. That when we don't access our own self-love and think we're supposed to just love everybody else, we hope it becomes enough, but the reality is it never is. So I'm sharing this with you as I'm in my PJs at the end of the day, engaging in a space with you to connect in radical and self-love and in this accepting right where we are. And for me, in my PJs, maybe you're in your PJs, maybe you're wearing a ball gown, or maybe you're wearing your scrubs. It doesn't matter. Where we are in this moment is perfect. Let me say that again. Where you are, where I am in this moment is absolutely perfect. Yes, I know your brain might have some thoughts and want to resist that it's not and tell you all the things. But in this moment, we're going to talk about self-love. I want you just to take a moment and imagine the sensation of love just washing over you like a wave. Not one that knocks you over. There can be like that, like a puppy that knocks you over because it's so excited to see you because it loves you so much. But imagine a wave gently just bringing love energy to you, through you, and around you. That imagine that it is all around you. It is all through you. There is love, there is source, there is universe, God all around us. And we forget over and over, right? How many times we spend most of our lives telling ourselves, believing the illusion that we're not lovable or we have to do more in order to be loved. I get it. Oh my gosh, I've lived my life where thinking if I just achieved more, if I just was valedictorian in my chiropractic class, if I just went to an Ivy League school, then maybe if I achieve enough, I'll either feel like I'm worthy or I'll get recognition. And what it really was that I wasn't loving me. And if people would love me enough, then maybe it could fill me up too. It's almost like trying to get the scraps from the leftovers, hoping that it'll be enough to feed you. So I want you to sit with that. This concept of self-love, and it's more than a concept because in this space, we're talking about manifesting, we're talking about embodying, we're talking about birthing new worlds. And when that is happening, this is something we take beyond a conceptual space. We actually play with it. We embody it. We engage with it. We get messy and dirty. Maybe in this moment, as I'm in my PJs, I'm going to take it with me and maybe sleep and dream on it. I want to experience love, unconditional love. And I believe we all have it in our lives, but we have forgotten. We've forgotten because we've been programmed that we're supposed to achieve more. We're supposed to have a longer to-do list. We're supposed to go, be busy all the time, which keeps us out of the consciousness of being present in this moment. It keeps us out of the ability to connect with love and to feel safe. And almost all of us have traumas from our childhood where we didn't feel like love was accessible without conditions. We thought we had to do something in order to get loved, or that we weren't doing enough. And so love wasn't available for us. Whatever that story is, I want to remind you that your story is yours. Your journey is exactly for you. And at any time, you can choose a reframe of how you look at your story. So often we look at our background or story and we look at the people that we quote wronged us or rejected us or didn't do enough for us. And those are victim stories. And in this space, I'm going to call you out on that with love. And I call you that with so much compassion too, as I've been in my own victim story as well in my life. But when we stay in the victim story that somebody did something to us, or they weren't enough, or we weren't enough, we stay in that victim concept. We stay in that victim energy, which is a lower vibration. And when we're in a lower vibration, we're not able to access abundance. We're not able to access unconditional love easily. We're not able to access creative ideas and be willing to take risks and a chance on ourselves, or to believe in a totally different way, or have relationships that feel nourishing instead of just old patterns just keep repeating themselves because your parents did that or because that's the way it's been for a decade. We're not here to live status quo. We're here to create extraordinary lives. And that means the path less traveled, not the one that goes against necessarily the stream or the river or the current, but we go on the path that might meander in its own way, that might be so exciting and so powerful. And it can also feel scary because when we look around, no one else is taking this path. We have no one to compare it to because your path is unique. So imagine what your life would look like if you gave yourself permission to recognize where you have conditions of loving. So that could look like your marriage. What conditions does your partner need to have in order for you to feel more loving towards them? Could be when they take the trash out. Could be that if they finally show an emotion or tell you their deepest, darkest fears. Or maybe it could be when they rock the babies in the middle of the night, or they offer to pick the kids up from soccer practice, or they dust the room. These could be some of the requirements or conditions that you may or may not have unconsciously. So when we notice we have conditions, what maybe it's a coworker or a friend or our children. If our children just behave a certain way, then that means we're a good parent. So as long as they do that, then we're okay and we can feel okay with ourselves. But if they behave differently in a way that I did not desire, then I'm a bad parent and I clearly can't be loved as a parent. Can you follow the thread of thinking here? Right? Look at the conditions. So I'm going to encourage you at the end of this video, to write down the conditions you might be becoming more aware of that you have for yourself or for others in order to feel either connected or loving towards them. Right? If this, then that. And in this container, we get to look at those if, then that and see them for what they are, which is an illusion. We're dissolving if, then that. We are dissolving the conditions that we have thought we needed to be required, conscious or unconscious, in order to access the most profound radical love. And when we access that for ourselves, we access it for everyone and vice versa. I love how Brene Brown talks about shame, and she talks about love and emotions. And she's like, you can't access it any more love or acceptance for yourself than you are for others. Or you can't access more love and acceptance anymore for others as yourself. Wait a minute. I thought if I just love people enough, it'll be good. No. If we're choosing to love others, it requires us to love us too. Because if we're trying to just love others and hoping we get the scraps of the love and it'll be enough, or nothing to see here, I'm just going to keep focusing on my kids, or I'm going to keep focusing on my passion project, my career, or my spouse, you are missing out on one of the most greatest loves of all. And that's you. And yes, I know that egoic brain of yours, that talk that happens up in here, might have some feedback. I don't want to be seen as arrogant. I don't want to be a narcissist. That's just your ego freaking out and judging what it might be to really fully accept yourself in love. And this just requires practice, requires noticing. And there, you don't have to have more self-judgment about it, but it's just a process. So we're just planting the seed of what would it look like to have awareness of some conditions you have in love for yourself and others. Write them down and start asking yourself, am I ready to let this go? And if you're not yet, that's okay. But the fact that you're willing to notice it means that you are already on your journey of letting it go. And you will let it go when you're ready. You don't have to force this. This is not a forcing experience. This is a noticing. This is an allowing. This is an acceptance and eventually embodiment. And as you do that, you create your most amazing, abundant masterpieces called your life. So I encourage you to play in the energy, in the abundance, in the love fest of self-love. And experience the delight that you can have with yourself as you let go of the attachments of conditions of what loving has looked like in the past and recognize that they are no longer needed. To be continued.